Man, probably a fun fact on me is that I
You
like to
don't?
read. Like I like to read. That's a lost art nowadays. Oh, my great uncle is Jesse Owens. He won 4 gold medals in 1936.
Yeah. I always want to leave people with this, man, to all the viewers and everybody out there, man. Make sure you guys finish your story. Make sure you guys finish your journey because somebody's going to need it.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is push the back button. That's all you gotta do. Push the back signal.
Try not to think about the future too much, so you can maximize the now.
Who's your favorite rap artist?
Man, to be honest, it's crazy. Tupac always been my number one, right? Like he got me through so much stuff, but Lil Wayne has been in the modern day.
I said, what does it really take? What does it really take to be great, Drew? And he looked at me and he was like, you really want to know? And he was like, to be honest, everything you did to get here, you need to be consistent times 10.
Consistent times 10. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nothing But Basketball Show. It's your boy, Coach Lee. It's Wednesday night, and we're back at it like we're mad at it. So, as always, it's time to run. You know what you got. So, with that being said, I got to bring in my dude. What's up, Coach Hill? How you feeling tonight?
What's up, y'all, man? Hey, I'm doing better this week than last week. You know, we had that scare, but we bounced back. That's what we do over this way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, weekend went well, you know.
Weekend was good. Despite wins and losses or whatever, man, we always learning, we always growing. So the weekend was good, man. Blessed.
No doubts, no doubts, no doubts. But hey, Coach, we're gonna go ahead and jump in. We got a couple of topics tonight. The first one we're gonna talk about, you know, top 5 power rankings.
Interesting.
Yes,
so
sir. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it out for you. So first off, I was a little bit surprised who number 1 is, but we're gonna get there. But number 5, they got the Brooklyn Nets. And the reason why they got Brooklyn is because, you know, and this actually is based off the beginning of the week. It's in a 4-game winning streak, even though, you know, they got dead in by the Wizards of all teams. But, you know, they didn't come up with enough stops. And, you know, and it was down, I think they gave up 48 fourth quarter points to the Nets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, you know. And I think they said that the only reason why they didn't drop them out of 5, because that was a bad loss by all means, is because they played a game without Harden there. But either ways, 48 points in first quarter. So for them, that's why they brought in Shumpert, just kind of help out with the perimeter defense. Because that game, Westbrook and Bill lit them up for 78. Just throw out those two tore them up. So, you know, the Wizard, it was a bad loss, but you got to keep in mind, you know, they went 3-1. You know, in the previous week, they beat Miami, they beat Atlanta, Oklahoma City, you know, and our world beaters. But you know, say again.
I said, yeah, they had some wins, they had a little streak.
They did, but they got to get themselves together because coming up this week, they got the Clippers, and the Sixers. So, you know, what you think about the Nets so far? You know, the new big 3 and whatnot.
Well, you know, like I predicted, like the Nets was going to be the team that'll potentially come out the East and be in the championship.
Right.
I like what they're doing. I feel like they still have to get it together and gel a little bit more. But as far as that loss to the Wizards, I think that was like personal, you know, for Westbrook and, you know, Bill to show like, hey, Bill, so I can score this many points and win, because he been scoring buckets and losing. So I mean, that was kind of personal. Westbrook's like, hey, I really don't like these dudes, so I'm going at their throat. So, but
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be all right down the stretch. I'm gonna probably retract what I said just because I normally don't retract stuff, but I think they'll make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah, for sure. But it was personal. But definitely personal. They need to get it together a little bit more. But at the end of the day, they're a solid team, solid players, and I really feel like they'll make a run when they have to.
No doubts, no doubts. You know, Westbrook gonna have a chip on the shoulder too. So I hadn't even thought about that until you brought it up. So that's good looking out on there.
And Bill has a chip on his shoulder too. You scoring all these buckets and you losing.
Yeah.
You didn't get no win, so yeah, yes sir.
Participation points.
Yeah. Good job. You know?
So the Nets are number 5. Number 4, and I know they in cruise control. They're gonna pick it up when the playoffs come up. The Lake Show. No, the Lake Show. And according to them, you know, they said they did have some back-to-back losses the first time for the season, but they did come back with a victory over the Celtics. But they lost to Philadelphia. Remember them?
Yeah. He's playing good ball right now. You can't take it away from him, man.
That's true.
We'll get to that later, though.
But they lost to the Pistons. Even though, and AD didn't play that game, but still, they should have beat the Pistons.
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm going to just say this. Defending champs, I don't care if they're in a bubble or not, they won the championship. And even though they didn't have AD, you still are looked at as the champions. You got to still step your game up and produce, man. And no, you just don't. No. Pistons have some good players, though. Let's not take nothing away from them, man.
That's true.
But
that's true.
You can't lose to the Pistons. The Pistons are horrible. Definitely have some good individual talent, but in the absence of AD, you still got to execute. So a 4th spot is, I'd give them a 4 or a 5 right now. Like you said, they'll turn it on when playoffs come. They know what to do. They're vets, but at the end of the day, you just can't lose to the Pistons. So number 4 is pretty solid for them right now.
I think they had them 3rd the previous week, but that was only because, you know, I think them beating Boston helped them stay in that 3rd spot. Even though I know these rankings, there's no championships for that. But interesting, you know, the defensive rating is actually up 5.5 points compared to, you know, to the league, to their average. So it's just effort right now. They're maintaining. I think LeBron is 37 now, I think.
Yeah, he getting old.
So, you know, they're following his lead. You know, they're pacing themselves. And, you know, come playoff time, you know, the boys going to be ready.
Oh, yeah, definitely have the veteran leadership over there to repeat, man. No doubt.
Now, number 3, they got the Clippers. You know, your boy, Playoff P.
Man, my boy, Playoff P. Yeah, man, I don't even know what to say about him. I don't even really mess with him too much. But right now the Clippers are you know, playing pretty solid ball. And like I'm a firm believer in, like, I'm not even a Clippers fan. So but I like Kawhi Leonard and how he plays the game and what he brings to the table. As far as them being 3rd, it's all politics to me. They're for fans, like, it's enjoyment for fans, it's entertainment. But yeah, Clippers are definitely playing good ball right now. Yeah, I think they belong there. They belong number 3.
You know, and I agree with that. And a lot of that has to do with, you know, they're average on defense, but case in point, they're 3rd in offensive ratings and 1st in 3-point percentage.
Yeah,
so
they're gonna go
offense like that, man.
They're gonna go get a bucket, you know. But the scary thing is when you say that right there, though, once they turn it on, get the defensive side, they're gonna be pretty scary, man. They really will be. And I'll go out on a limb and say they'll probably make it to the Western Conference finals.
Western Conference
depends
finals.
Depends on where they're at, you know, in the bracket. So we'll just have to keep watch on that. But yeah, I'll put them in the Western Conference finals. And hopefully they put them on the opposite side of the Lakers so then they can potentially meet.
I can definitely see that. It's going to be interesting, you know, to say the least. Number 2, Utah Jazz.
Man, we you know what? We talk about the Jazz a lot. You know, even last season on the show, we talked about the Jazz, man, and how they were pretty pretty feisty. They have some pretty key pieces. But this year, you know what? I can't even say they're gonna make it to the Western Conference Finals or anything. I mean, they're doing what they need to do right now, but down the stretch, are they gonna get over that hump? And it seems like they get to that part or that hump, and they just can't get over it.
Right.
So I'm very interested in seeing later on in the year, later on in the season, are they gonna get over that hump, or are they gonna be like they usually are and play good ball and take teams to the limit and then fall off? Or are you gonna finish? You know, sounds like, you know, a broken record in my head right now about finishing stuff, but are you gonna finish the games?
Right. And you know, with the Jazz, you know, they lead the league in rebounds, the third in 3-point percentage, and fourth in net rating. Now, the most impressive thing though is they were, I believe they had a 11-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And they won those games by an average of 15.6 points. So it wasn't even close. So, you know, they've been on fire from behind the arc. I think they got 6 players shooting 38% or better from downtown. You know, if you're running like that, man, you know, and you leading in rebounds, you got a chance. You know, you getting those extra possessions. Shooting that in there.
Definitely a team not to be slept on. I'd say that. Don't sleep on them because they're always in the mix. The thing is getting over the hump.
That's true. That's true. And the number one team for this week, you say what you want to say about old Doc Rivers. I know we had it. We clowned them after they lost last year, but he got the 76ers balling right now. You know, and again, which is weird, they were fourth, and they did have a bad loss during the week. They lost to the Pistons as well. So, damn, like the Lakers, you know, like you said, the Pistons are still they're not great, but they're still professional players, you know, professional team at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, with the 76ers, they had Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. I think in a victory against Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, they scored 27 and 21 points. If Tobias is putting in some work like that, you know, you pretty much got a pretty good chance, you know, to be a fish because, you know, they've always played some pretty decent defense.
They have.
A lot of people just let Ben Simmons shoot, keep him from outside the paint, make him shoot, and they had nobody else that can open up the floor for him. So I think they probably figured out a formula. And I know Paul George complained about Doc Rivers. At the end of the day, Doc's been around the game a long time, and you got to kind of listen to him at some point.
Yeah, and you know, like we were talking about Doc Rivers, you know, maybe his system didn't fit those guys he was with. Now he's over here with this group of guys, and his system works for them. Not everybody's system works for everybody. Whether it's the player system to the coaches or the coaches to the players. Like they clash sometimes. So with Doc Rivers over here with the 76ers, he's doing his thing. My question is, are you going to be able to do your thing when them playoffs hit? Yet again, the Sixers are another team that cannot get over the hump. And Doc Rivers has been under a lot of fire for him losing playoff series or getting to the playoffs and just not producing. So my thing is, okay, that's cool. You're doing all this big stuff for the 76ers right now. Players are playing good. You got it flowing. Are you going to get them over the hump though? Are they going to get themselves over the hump also? Or are you going to fizzle at the end and not produce anything? So I think that's a big question right there. I'm not taking nothing away from them, but at the end of the day, what are you going to do when them playoffs start? Are people going to figure out your formula? Or what's the deal? So I'm anxious to see what they're gonna do down the stretch, and can they get over the hump? Just like I said, the Utah Jazz. So it'll be cool. True. We're gonna see. I'm watching.
And that's a good segue, Coach. So speaking of watching, our next topic is the NBA MVP race. So,
sir,
I was a little bit surprised. I know we had talked about it, previously, but I was a little bit surprised as far as who some of the favorites are so far.
Yeah.
And I think okay. So as far as the favorites, right now, I'm gonna go same scenario. We'll start with number 5. So at about almost a 5% probability, you got Kevin Durant coming in at number 5. So far this season, he's averaging 30.8 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 5.2 assists. Doing fairly, and he's shooting 45% from behind the arc.
That's cool. My thing is KD's gonna do. We knew KD was gonna do what KD does. Right now, with him being number 5, me personally, I'm trying to wait and see. Hey, what can you do? I know he has a big 3 over there, but are you gonna be able to take the Nets and put them on your back, even with helps? Even when you have big 3s like that, somebody is the alpha. Somebody is the alpha out of those big 3. Somebody takes a shot. Somebody's the leader. Somebody's more vocal. So I really think it's going to determine how he's going to react down the stretch if he's going to win an MVP race, because, okay, he's going to have to step it up in other areas, which he's stepping it up. I give it to him. I'm not trying to bash Kevin Durant or nothing, but people are going to wait and see, hey, what can he do being over here? He's not with Golden State. He's not with none of these big market teams. But now you're over here with Brooklyn. Let's see what you can do. And I bet you he'll move up. I bet you can even win the MVP race if he takes them, I don't know, whatever the case may be, to the playoffs or helps them start, doing what they do a little better. Once they gel, you'll see more of that.
Agreed. Number 4, L Boogie. Right now he's averaging 25 points a game, 7.7 assists. I'm sorry, 7.7 rebounds, 7.5 assists. He's shooting almost 41% from behind the arc.
Yeah. And for L Boogie, man, number 4, he's right in the mix, right where he wants to be, man. I'm not gonna really elaborate on him. But I feel like he's doing this thing and he's gonna slowly climb up also. Solid player, and just I feel like number 4 fits him well.
Agreed. Number 3, Kawhi Leonard. He has a probability of a 12.1% of winning the MVP. He's averaging 26.3 a game, 5.2 rebounds, 5.4 assists. Not shooting that well from behind the arc. He's almost there. He's shooting 39.8%.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Kawhi's chances?
I like Kawhi.
He's constant, man.
Yeah, I like Kawhi. I like his consistency. I like the way he plays. So just say I like Kawhi, man. I'm a little Kawhi fan since he was with the Spurs. So I really see him. They're all in the mix. Do I see him winning it? Nah, not right now. But I do see him making a push for it because he's gonna have to eventually put the Clippers on his back and get some things done.
That's true. He is going to have to do that. No, it's not something that he's not used to. He definitely did that 2 seasons ago in Toronto.
Yeah, he did. Man, I'm still surprised he left Toronto, but that's another, that's an easy way to get to the finals, But
that's true.
Through the East, that's the easy way. But anyway.
No doubts. Number 2, thing called itself the big process, Joel Embiid. He's got a 19% chance. He's averaging 28.3 a game, 2.8 assists, 11.1 rebounds. He's shooting 40% from behind the arc.
Burning their face off. Burning them boys' face off.
So he's been hot. I think you mentioned earlier about Doc meshing with the players he has. Mm-hmm. Doc is old school. He comes from the old school mentality. You got to have a banging big man in the paint, and you run your offense from inside out. And he's got that there.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I really see it's going to depend on if they get over the hump, man, with him, and can he stay consistent down the stretch. Like he's shooting good right now. He's hitting them things, like I said, burning their face off from the 3, doing what he need to do. But can you do that down the stretch, or are you going to choke?
When it counts.
When it counts, you're going to choke. But that's cool. All this is good, NBA, that's cool. But are you going to choke down the stretch?
Yeah,
And
things get tight. You know that Corey gets small.
exactly, exactly. So we'll see, man. He good number 2 pick though.
No doubts, no doubts. And number 1, Nikola Jokic, the Joker. He's got a 45% chance of winning it right now. Dude's almost averaging the triple-double. He's 26.8 points a game, 11.8 boards, 8.6 assists from your big man. He's having a hell of a season this year.
We knew he was gonna have a hell of a season. He was solid last year in the playoffs. Going forward, you know, he's definitely a team player. As you can see, he shares the ball. He does all the little things right. A very solid number 1 in the MVP race. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's gonna be good down the stretch, but I really see him being able to win it if nobody else on that list, or maybe there's people that ain't on that list right now that might shake some things up. I don't know, but I like the Joker, man. He's a good player, man.
I think if he was probably any other place besides Denver, he's at a major market, he'd probably get a lot more hoopla.
Yeah,
than
small market. He'd be out there a little more, but at the end of the day, man, whoever pays him, you know, as long as he gets his bread. So, but I don't know. I don't really know if he'll stay in Utah. I'm not saying, oh, he's having problems, but I mean, in the future, this can be 3-4 years later, but he may go to a bigger market because maybe he'll start feeling like, hey, I need to be on a bigger market to make a little more noise. So at the end of the day, I've seen a lot of players, though, go to bigger markets, man, and just be trash, too, though. So, I mean,
pressure get to them.
Some people ain't ready for that. They ain't ready for the big lights and all that. You should have just stayed small and got your bread up. Simple.
So last topic, you know, before we can get to our break, All-Star Weekend. A little surprised that they were considering it.
Yeah, I was too.
So tentatively right now is scheduled to happen on March the 7th. And it looked like they're trying to have it played at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta.
Okay.
And they're going to go back to that traditional Eastern Conference, Western Conference format. Kind of interesting. Now, if they hadn't had it, it would have been the first time they didn't have an All-Star game since the 98-99 season, which was, you know, they had a lockout shortened season.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, they need, like I said, man, like eventually, and I know this plays a part in like with the COVID stuff. I know it does. My thing is eventually, man, we have to start getting back to the norm and start realizing we can't just eliminate certain things. Like the All-Star Weekend, that's part of NBA. That's part of the NBA. It's part of, you know, the NFL has their All-Star Weekend or whatever, you know, Pro Bowl. It's part of sports. So we gotta start learning to live with this coronavirus stuff, man. We know how to take the protocols. We know what the protocols are. I mean, if you feel like taking the vaccine, take it. But man, All-Star Weekend is big for the NBA, man. So shout out to the NBA. I really feel like they need to go ahead and proceed with that procedure, man. Don't even second guess it. Just go with it, you know. Allow so many fans in, like the NFL that like allow a certain amount of fans in. Because I believe the NBA is starting to let some fans in.
Yeah, I saw LeBron got into it with somebody the other night.
Yeah, so my thing is use the same scenario. Don't be like, oh, we're at All-Star Weekend. Let's not do it. No, right. I mean, you're already playing basketball. You're letting fans in. Go on and do it. Get that money.
Right. They I think they're going to figure it out. You know, at the end of the day, like you spoke about, they do have to find some way to get back to some type of normalcy. How you doing, Miss Brandy?
Yes, ma'am.
Get back to some type of normalcy, and you know, and at the end of the day, money is what's going to drive it.
Gotta have
money.
Money.
What's going to drive it?
Yeah. So I think it'll pop off, man.
Okay. Well, we're going to step away for a second. You know how we do it. We're going to be back here in about 30 seconds or so.
What's up, world? Kyrie Robinson, man. New Orleans Saints veteran. Hey, man, make sure you guys go check out my guy, man, STWF, the media, man. Check them guys out. Y'all want to get sports talks with players, with fans, anything like that, man, go check them guys out, man. That's the place to be if you want to talk sports. Who That Nation?
And we're back. Sorry about that, Coach.
I was like, shoot, I'm by myself. I'm about to just roll with it. You know either way, you know how we do.
Hey, like we have some technical difficulties, but we're gonna roll with it anyway. So,
roll with it, man. That's what we do.
What you got for us this week, as far as the Waco Terror updates, Coach?
Well, you know, first thing, man. Shout out to everybody that supports us. Shout out to y'all, man. Much love from Coach Hill on the Waco Terror. First off, we got the NBL national rankings, man. We took a loss last weekend in double overtime, which we should have won. But at the end of the day, you got to be smart when you play basketball. 30 seconds left, you up by 4. You got to chill, man. But right there, you can see we're number 8 or 7. Where are we at? Yeah, we're number 7. So we're still in the top 10. We've been in the top 10 all season. We were up at number 4 before. So I mean, my biggest thing is those rankings right there. They don't dictate or show how we're gonna finish the season. You know, we're 8-6 right now, battling for a playoff spot. We're number 4 in our division. So at the end of the day, we got to keep pushing. We got to finish games. We got to get consistent, man. Like we are so inconsistent right now. It's not even funny. The game plan work, but then you have players that butt heads or feel like, oh, they ain't touching the ball enough. Blase. You know what? Win the game. All that politics, I don't do that. We try and win.
Coach said he ain't got time for it.
Don't really have time, man. Don't really have time. And then speaking of MVP races, the Maximum Basketball League, we also have an MVP race, man. And I'm not gonna really go down that list, but our point guard, Antoine Chaney, he's number 1 right now. So big shout out to him. There it is right there. You got some big names up there in Chuck Guy, DK Eldridge. You got Xavier. You got ours at the top, Waco Terra South MVP, you know, nominee, 41.3 points per game, man. Shout out to Antoine Chaney doing this thing, man. So salute everybody. And I know there might be some players that aren't on the Terra that are missing off that list, but hey, I don't know who, but shout out to all those guys that are on the MVP list also.
Yeah, he getting buckets up there, man.
Yeah, man. He doing his thing, man. We had a scare at the game. And that'll take us right into the weekend recap. We had a scare at the game. You know, he has sickle cell. So he slowed down. His heart rate went up, and, you know, he was just sweating. So I had to definitely take him out the game and make sure he was okay. But he came back in and he finished the game. And like I said, weekend recap, man. We lost 140 to 136 in double overtime. A game we should have easily finished off when we had the chance. Just like the same scenario tonight at my son's game, we gotta learn to finish. It's about finishing, and once you learn to finish, then you win those games, man. But in the weekend recap, you know, we got our scores. I got my little list right here I'm reading off of because it's a lot of information. You know, you got Antoine Chaney finishing the game with 44 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. You got Logan Hicks finishing with 36 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 steal. You got Trevion Shaw, 24 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. You got Demarius Keys, 17 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Then you have Kyron Horton with 13 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. Finishing off with Dwayne Turner, 3 points, Michael Cooper, 2 points, man. So
cool.
We went out there and balled. Yeah, look, Coop, man. Shout out, look, Coop. We went out there and balled, man. But at the end of the day, you can ball all day, but you got to finish. Finishing is the key. Finishing is the key. And that's something we've struggled with all season is finishing games. So once we figure that part out, we're going to make a run in the playoffs. I don't know how deep, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I mean, any coach wouldn't get on here and just be like, oh, we're just a horrible team. Nah, we going to make a run. And I just hope people don't sleep on us. Then going into my community impact, man, there's a lot of schools around here, and this doesn't have nothing to do with basketball. This has to do with students getting signed. You know, football players are getting signed, basketball players getting signed. People are getting signed. So I know I normally shout out, you know, all my high schools in Waco, man, but this one right here, Conley Cadets, man. Big shout out to all them kids that are getting signed. You know, Peacock he's a friend of mine. His son used to play like Little League when my son was little, so he goes to Conley, man. Big shout out to Peacock getting signed to Arkansas State. So besides that, man, shout out to all the students in the area and to the kids for continuing their education. But also through sports, that's why they're continuing their education. So giving those, everybody, if you're on here, man, go follow Conley ISD, man. Shout out Conley tonight, man. Big ups to them and to the coaching staff for getting those boys to the next level to further their education.
No doubts, no doubts. Congratulations, young man.
Yes, sir. And then, of course, go follow us, man. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And you can also look us up on YouTube, man. So definitely right there. If not, you can follow us on Facebook on Waco Terror Basketball. Follow us on Instagram, TerrorMade _254 on IG, and Twitter is at Terror Waco. And then if you want to check out some of our games, if you can't make it to games or whatever, go on YouTube, type in Waco Terror, and you can see all our basketball games, man. You know, they're recorded. Some angles are good, some angles aren't. But at the end of the day, man, if you miss games and you can't make it to them, go check that out. But we also going down the stretch will be live. It's just been kind of a transition period, you know.
Hey, Waco Terror. Like I say, it's one of my favorite parts of the show. Just find out, you know, you got some exciting things going on down there in Waco. You know, from the community to the players themselves. And I'm going to get out my butt one of these days coming up and catch a game, man, for sure.
Yeah, man, we'll be up in I don't know the date, but I know next month we'll be up in Dallas. We'll be in Fort Worth too. Big game against 4100 Elite. Then you have the Texas Tsunami, which that'll be a good game too. I'm not tooting my own horn too soon, but we gonna get some dubs down the stretch. But
no doubt.
Highlights coming next week, you know, promo for the playoffs coming up, you know what I'm saying, and the NBL Final Four, which, you know, you got to make it through your region first, your playoff to get to the Final Four, which is supposed to be held in Vegas. So big things coming, man. I'm gonna put a little highlight together for all y'all watching, man, next week. So it ain't just a bunch of talk. You can see a little action too. So,
no doubts, no doubts. Hey, Coach, you know, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. Any shout outs you got for us?
Yeah, man. Big shout out. Hey, check this out. My boy, Ray Young. Malik and the Magic Bow Tie. It's a children's book. Go look him up on YouTube. Not YouTube, I'm tripping. I'm talking about Waco Terror stuff. Look him up on Facebook. Ray Young Jr., man. Send me an autographed copy of his book, you know, children's book, man. Doing big things. Entrepreneur. Shout out to Ray Young, you know what I'm saying? And also shout out to Destined for Greatness Basketball, which the Jungle is our home gym, man. Shout out to y'all. Still impacting lives, doing great things. Just shout out my players, man, for sticking with me, and shout out my kids. You know, they stick by me too, man. We butt heads, but hey, whatever. We gonna get through whatever too. So, besides that, shout out to everybody that supports Waco Terror, everybody that supports Coach Hill and everything he does.
Coach Hill be on it. We definitely appreciate you, Coach. Hey, for y'all tuning in tonight, thank y'all for joining us to the Number Basketball Show. Be back next week. Have another exciting show for you. Appreciate you.